Okay, I think we should be going live. I'm going to be watching my screen to see when I see myself. There's like a 20-second delay. Hope I did it right this time. Yes, there we go. Let me turn the volume down. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Insights and Tarot by me. I'm Scott. I have a special guest here today, but before I introduce her, um, let me let you know that I am very available right now for readings. My inbox has been really quiet, which has been kind of nice. Been taking some time off to go inside a little bit. Um, but I do personal tarot card readings. My fee is $65 for up to an hour and a half, and that's for your first ever reading, right? I give a little bit of a discount. Normally, I'm charging now $75 for up to an hour and a half. If you don't want a full reading of an hour and a half, which sometimes is 2 hours, depending on how it's going, I do shorter readings, like 30 minutes for $30. And anything else I want to say? Probably, but I forgot and I didn't write down anything. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my guest, Dayna. Hi, Dayna. Welcome to my
Hi.
channel.
Hi, hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, Scott.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That's something I meant to say during my introduction is that this is exactly what I want to be doing with my channel right now. So I have several clients who tell me that they have like most of them have like a 3D job, and recently they've been getting these spiritual awakenings or these gifts, and they would like to share them with people. Some are healers, some are psychics, some help with spiritual counseling, and they don't have a platform to do that. And so I'm offering anybody listening here, if you feel like you have spiritual gifts that you would like to bring to the world and you want a place to showcase them, send me an email. My email is in the description. I'd love to have you on as a guest and introduce you to my audience. And now, Dayna, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yes. So my name is Dayna Rubin, and I created a business called From Fertility to Delivery. And basically, what what inspired me to create it was, the conception and the actual childbirth of our two sons. So I'm a late bloomer. I started I got married at 36 years old, had the first baby at 38, and then the second baby at 40. So that's definitely, late when you consider it. They actually call it a geriatric pregnancy, which is very, very rude. But anyways, there's nothing geriatric about me. And I knew that, and there's nothing geriatric about a lot of women out there that are in the same um, game as me, or as I was starting out so late in life. So basically, fertility was very spiritual for me, and I was actually able to connect to the soul and essence and light body of the baby coming in both pregnancies. And basically I started calling it spiritual fertility or quantum fertility. I mean, there's a lot of words for it now, but I didn't really know what was happening at the time. So for me, it was just a great ride to be on that type of momentum and figure out what was actually happening. I started hearing that from a lot of other women that was able to connect to the soul of the baby before they came earthside. And basically that created a lot of research on my end. So I bought a lot of books and read them and listened to things and just tapped in internally and realized that spiritual fertility is actually happening on a very large scale. It's happening with every single conception, which is kind of amazing. And we all sign soul contracts, and these soul contracts are the roles that we're going to play on earth. We sign them before we even start the actual conception. And I started to see the energetics and the alignments and the importance of the Kundalini, the importance of the chakra system. So I'm creating a course to help women that are having, and couples that are having issues with infertility, to align to the spiritual side. Because when you think about it, we go to the doctor when we're trying to conceive, which is not a good thing to say because the word trying stops fertility. And we go to the doctor, we go to the nutritionist, we go to the acupuncturist, but do we go to the spirit baby? Do we really connect with the essence and the soul of that baby coming in? So that's really what I want to promote. And that's where we are headed in the golden age, to connect with the spirit baby first, before we even start anything that's more physical. And then when I was actually pregnant, after 9 months of being married, we got pregnant, and that was amazing because that was fun. And as soon as we found out, I was petrified of giving birth, just petrified. So, for those of you listening, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your fear level of giving birth? Mine was at a 9. So I learned about hypnobirthing from a friend that did it recently. And I just found Blissborn Hypnobirthing. I did the course. And throughout my entire pregnancy, I was connecting with my grandmother, she's passed, but she had 9 children on the islands of Bahamas and Jamaica. And she had all home births, all midwives. And I thought about her a lot. And then our son was born on her birthday, and the hypnobirthing was a success. It was under 3 hours of labor. And we actually programmed that in the Blissborn hypnobirthing training. So it was, after my water broke, which my water did break. Some people's water don't break, but mine did. It was a hospital birth, and he was on Earthside in like 3 hours. And he was born on her birthday. She would have been 100 years old on that day. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
very special. That was very special. And that was a sign from the heavens for me to, really take a look at this. It was really wonderful. And so the second was a home birth. He came 6 weeks early. So we had him by the front door as I was walking out to get into the car to go to the hospital, because the midwife, her hands were tied, that early in the birth. But we called 911. We have the whole thing recorded, so it's on my YouTube channel.
Oh,
So yeah, so you can actually hear a hypnobirth where I kind of pop out to calm our son, which was like 19 months at the time. And I pop right back in, and then all of a sudden my husband's like, he's here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I can send you the links to put in the description for this. But anyways, I have a YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I have a hypnobirthing class that is already set up online. It's an online anytime class, so you can actually take the class, and then I offer 3 calls where we talk about the class, we go over it, we talk about all the fears, and we clear all your fears, and we actually program under 5 hours of birth, of labor, because labor doesn't have to be that long, and it is right now. Childbirth is one of the most programmed dysfunctional things on the planet.
really?
And yeah, it really is. And it's a ritual. I don't want to go into too much detail on this channel, but we could talk
Oh,
about it on another
and
channel one day. But it is a ritual, and it's
and
designed.
by that you're talking about the 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 cabal and how they have taken childbirth, made it into a ritual, and taken it away from its roots and its spiritual connection. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely, yeah, and it's traumatizing. It's created to be that way. And
Well,
there's, yeah, so, I have questions about that, we can ask the cards, things like that, but it needs to be cleaned up. Um, in the future, I'm visualizing water births and home births and natural births and, not using all of the medication that we use because I had two natural births and the body is built to give birth. So you have to deprogram all the crap you see in TVs, movies, sitcoms, where the woman's screaming their head off because the birth is like
every
unmanageable.
time I'm watching a movie or a television show and they do a birth scene, I fast forward through that part. I can't. Now I want to go back to something you said. Okay, aren't most births nowadays done by cesarean section?
Yes, the cesarean section rate is very high. I know the percentage is, I believe, over 30%. It might be more than that in the US. In countries like Brazil, it's 95%. And there's some other
Yeah,
countries,
that's what I thought
yeah.
it was.
And only 5% of births are high risk. Only 5%. So there are some births that require a C-section, like placenta previa, where the placenta is covering the cervix. But and when people have high blood pressure during their pregnancy, preeclampsia is what that's called. But for the majority, even age is not necessarily high risk. I mean, I was considered high risk and geriatric, which what is that?
That is a terrible. I heard
Mm-mm.
your YouTube video where you mentioned that. What is the age cutoff for this geriatric? Or
No, it's actually 35 years old, which is
yeah,
ridiculous because I believe the souls coming in right now, and I do call them spirit babies, even though they're very elevated and highly evolved souls. They're not babies, but I still call them that because, that's, uh, a term that kind of denotes where they're at in their evolution. They are highly evolved. They're star seeds for the most part. And they're coming back to Earth to raise the elevation. They're here to be the builders, and they're not here to mess around, basically. And they want to connect. They actually they connect with anyone. All types of genres are getting pregnant, but it's advantageous for them and their life goal and their purpose and their mission to connect with another highly evolved soul that's awake and aware and knows what's going on and is willing to push through that fear of childbirth and offer a very natural vaginal birth and also offer uh, nursing and breastfeeding and coming back to those basics. That is where women, we just lost it along the way, but we're getting back on track. And that's, a part of my big purpose in life, my life
so,
purpose.
what can you tell us, being careful of your wording, about why this push for the cesarean procedure? Is it
Mhm.
for money? Is it somehow spiritually dampening the souls of the mother and the child? What do you think it is? Why this push for the cesarean? I think it's probably money, but
Well, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of different nuances to that. The money aspect is huge because it is very profitable. And I'll talk about the money and then some of the other physical and esoteric aspects. But basically, I was on the phone with the hospital after the second birth, which was at home, but we did end up in the hospitals for a bunch of things, monitoring and all those things that they wanted to do. And he was a preemie, so I was okay with that. But I was on the phone with the insurance agent, and he started talking about all of the billing and everything that was going on with my bill, 'cause I had specific questions about that. And then he started telling me that birth creates the most profitability to insurance companies and hospitals. And then he's like, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm like, I know why you're telling me this because I'm
yeah,
going to go and tell everybody.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You you
So
have you have that.
it's very, yeah.
You're able to draw the truth out just by your presence.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Well, how do you want to start? Do you have questions for me for the cards or?
Yeah, I have some questions and they're general, and I think everyone will get something out of this. So my first question is about the spirit babies specifically. That's fun. I just burned some sage before we started our meeting too. So
Okay,
basically, yeah,
I'm a little late.
yeah, no, that's good. It'll be fresh.
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to ask, what are spirit babies saying? What do they want us to know? What do they want to tell us that's important to them? And when I say spirit babies, again, it's really the souls coming in, like a general layout of what they want us to know, basically.
Okay.
Mhm. And Scott, while you're setting up, just to also discuss about the C-section. Now, there may be folks on the call that were forced into a C-section or planned a C-section. The babies connect with the mother on their level. So if there was a reason for that, it was okay, and they came in, and everything, hopefully was fine. And and C-sections, they do have a very big importance. They've probably saved many lives. So we're not here to poo-poo them. But at the same time, there is something to say about coming through the vaginal canal. There is what's called the microbiome that a baby actually creates as they're moving through the vaginal canal, and that builds their immune system. That's the building blocks for the immune system. So going through the vaginal canal for a um, a birth is very important. It actually sets up the baby for success. Even the air in the room sets up the baby for success. So that is really important.
Okay, so I have some cards here, and
Nice.
very appropriate. We have the page, which is children from conception, I guess maybe
Mhm.
even before conception onwards, and this is for the prospective mothers. This is the position of the prospective mothers, and this is surrender. So you have to not come in with any preconceived ideas of what it should be, how it's going to be, and uh, and also letting go of any fears you have, because this is something that they want you to celebrate. This is their birthday, so this is a great celebration, and it- it's one thing that the spirit babies want us to understand, that regardless of what happens, they're here for a greater good. What I mean by that is not all births are, flawless and painless and successful. Sometimes there are miscarriages and things like that. There You should never grieve about the losses either, because it's all happening for a reason. They're all coming here to teach us something for a reason. And and letting go of fear, this surrendering and to the process. This is a very natural process, and not having fears over this. So if you take fears into it, then then that's going to affect them. Then children will be born with that kind of fear. But I think this is why what you're saying, like this, how do you say it? Hypno?
Yeah,
Like,
hypnobirthing.
no, yeah. So it's very important that the mother not bring any fear into the process. All right. And
Hmm.
uh, and that each child is born with its particular purpose, and we have to accept those purpose, whatever it be, whether it's for to teach us something that's very hard to learn, or for bringing great joy and happiness. Okay.
Very good. Yeah, that's amazing. The unnecessary worry card at the end, at the bottom,
Yeah.
is like very important because your body is built to give birth, and we've gotten so far away from that. We're coming back to it. That's
And
important.
yeah, that's really true. And the way it's been taken from this thing that's like a family oriented thing, where in the past you would be at home, you would be surrounded by your family, all generations, and it's been made into this clinical thing that's sterile, and every people's faces are covered, and there are drugs involved. Uh, yeah. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's very good. And basically, the next question involves soul contracts. So before we even come earthside, we're given a visual of what the next life is going to look like. You're also always almost like you're in a theater and you're able to see what the life looks like. And the soul contract is between the mother and the father. So the mother and the father create the soul contract, and then what happens is that a conception cradle is formed where you have the mother, the father, they come together, and the baby stays right there in the actual vessel of their connection. They're creating this pillar, very similar to the Ace of Cups, which we talked
Excuse
about,
me.
Scott. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go
So we
ahead.
talked about this. Yeah, that's fine. We talked about the Ace of Cups in in one of the conversations I had with Scott before, which it is a fertility. Um, it's a fertility card. And I believe the reason that it's a fertility card is because it connotes the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail has come up in the past as being fertility, not necessarily a, a religious aspect of fertility, but when you think of the Holy Grail, you think of conception and fertility. So I think there's a connection there in the tarot and actual conception. So that's important as well. While Scott's doing his thing, I'll just be a good co-host and talk a little bit more about hypnobirthing, because a lot of people haven't heard of it. So basically what a hypnobirth is that you go through these classes and you learn how to create certain ways of passing through a contraction. Sometimes it's called surges, depending on the modality of hypnobirthing that you're learning. So the modality that I teach is called Blissborn Hypnobirthing, and they have their own website. They have, oops, are we still live? Are we still live, you guys? Can you see me? Are we still live? I think I'm live on my end. I'm just making sure, but I'm actually looking at the live chat. So if you guys can hear me, put like a 5x5 in there. Congrats, Deborah, that you just found out you're pregnant. Congratulations. Yeah, so it looks like I'm still on, but I'm not sure what happened to Scott. So I guess I'll just keep going and maybe he'll pop back in and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's just wing it. So so hypnobirthing is where you go through all of the motions of learning how to take on all the sensations of birth, all the contractions, and anything that comes up, any surprises that come up. It takes you back into the actual calmness of what birth needs to be. So birth, the reason the body is built for birth is because you're actually creating oxytocin in the pituitary gland. And that is the love hormone. It's actually creating a way for you to open up and allow yourself to open up like a flower in order to give birth in a very, very manageable way. I'm not saying you're not going to feel anything. Okay. There are orgasmic births out there, but when it comes to the actual birth, whether you have an orgasmic birth or you have a manageable birth, you're not afraid of it. You're not tensing up. You're not like fearful of the next contraction and the next contraction, because when you do that, that actually stops birth. So allowing your body to create that oxytocin that opens the body up, it opens up the cervix, it opens up everything, and it allows you to have a lot of ownership for your actual birth. That's really important. And we go through all these different modalities of creating that atmosphere with the birth. There's also a way to stimulate or simulate pain or discomfort. And we do that in the class. And just to give you a sneak preview, we actually use a clothespin and we put those on sensitive areas. And that actually creates the sensation of discomfort. And then we work through that in the class so that you can get over a feeling or a sensation live in the class, and you can move through that to the next level. The other thing that we do is that we get the partner involved immensely in birth. So my partner was my husband, and I do call him my daddy doula because he ended up doing a lot for me and for us in the class and in the actual live in the hospital and also at home. And the video that I have on YouTube, actually, you can hear him going through all the steps of that birth and, kind of being overwhelmed, but being able to handle it. So we give them things that they can do. They're almost like the lion in the room, protecting the mother, walking around the room, pacing, making sure everything is okay, and taking, control of the situation while the mother is able to focus. The partner doesn't have to be a husband. It could be anyone. It could be a best friend, a mother, a father, a doula. Your doula can also be involved in this, definitely. And the class, we talk about everything. And I bring up a little bit about, after the baby comes into the world and having a schedule, dealing with boundaries, dealing with people in the family that may want to overstep their bounds and just kind of take on the whole birth. Maybe they already had their baby and you didn't. Hi, Scott.
I'm so sorry. Hold on a second.
That's okay. Do your thing. I was a good
Welcome
host.
to
I'm just
new
kind of going.
reaching. Oh, input mode.
Dana. Oh, I can't believe I got back. I'm so sorry for that. I left you hanging there.
That's okay.
Were you able to carry that for me?
Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't have any down air time. I talked about my class that I have online.
Oh, you're a
Yeah,
professional.
thank
Very
you.
good.
And I touched base in the live chat. There's a lady named Deborah that just found out that she's pregnant. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, I saw that.
Oh, good.
Um, my okay, I promise I'm not going to
Yeah, take a
disconnect us this
minute.
time.
That's okay. I was talking about the hypnobirthing and going more into it so that it's a little bit
Okay.
more clear because a lot of people haven't heard of it.
Right. Those are the technical difficulties that you get when you go live sometimes. So,
Yeah, that happens.
and my lighting is um so
Yeah.
questions about fertility. I get those quite a bit, people trying to get pregnant and
Mhm.
or family members. And for some reason I have a very good track record of with those.
Good.
Um, okay. So
Good.
I'm back, and do you have more questions? Does anybody, Deborah, since congratulations on your recent pregnancy.
Mhm.
First, let's do any more questions that you have, Dana. Sorry, I'm a little bit flustered from
Yeah,
that.
that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, take a breather. That's good. With regards to The miscarriages, that's probably a good question that we can tackle next because it is happening. And
Hmm.
I have like a couple questions about that. What I've seen from a fertility coach perspective and some of the feedback I've gotten is that the the miscarriages are it's a little bit of everything. There's energetic blocks. Maybe there's actually energy that is being blocked in the sacral chakra, which is the orange sacral chakra where the reproductive organs lie. And there's a block in that chakra, or even the root chakra, because that is the actual opening for, or, where the vaginal canal, where the baby's actually coming out. So if there's a block there, or there's some trauma there, that could block it. It could be past life, it could be current life traumas. And then there's also the body. So the body's also making the baby. You have the body and the energetics of the spiritual conception, cradle, creation of the soul contracts and all of that. If the body is lacking a lot of minerals, that could affect the baby. So I just did a video 2 weeks ago about some of the specific minerals that you need. And it's on my YouTube channel and, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is where I'm at right now, at From Fertility to Delivery. So we talk about the minerals. So we could talk about that in the next question. Let's see. What are some main causes of miscarriage? We could talk about that right now because I think it's happening a lot.
Um, I was thinking about this recently. My mother had 4 children. I was the second, but
Mhm.
she had her first pregnancy uh, was a miscarriage,
Mm.
and then of course my older brother, then me, then I had two little sisters, and I don't know why this. I don't know if this was a download or it was just something that kind of came to me, right? Um, that I was that first conception. That was me.
Mhm.
But because that would have completely changed the family dynamic, like me being second born and my brother with his personality is a big part of who I became. And had that been the other way around, I would have been a totally different person. And so I don't know. I'm just wondering if and you're talking about the mother and the father's um, contract. Like maybe my
Mhm.
contract didn't agree with that. I don't know. It's just something like that. Like so,
Mhm.
sometimes miscarriages can be that soul is just not ready at that time. Uh,
Right.
does that make any sense?
Yeah, sometimes the soul isn't ready. Sometimes the contract was for a miscarriage, so it was actually supposed to happen.
Right.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes the baby in the last minute opts out of the contract. Maybe they just don't like the fetus and how it's forming. They're
Mhm.
looking for different attributes. And sometimes what we're seeing a lot of now is 80 years ago, we had a much more thick amnesia veil. So when the baby moved from the spirit world into um, basically the womb, which is considered not really a portal, but more like a stargate, bringing the soul into the earthly realm. All of the memories of past life traumas are hitting them at this time because we pretty much don't have a veil anymore. The veil has basically been gone. If anything, it's gossamer and it's very malleable, but there is no more veil. So these new souls are coming in, and all of the past traumas are coming and hitting them all at once. And it's freaking out the soul, and they're like, okay, I'm not ready. And especially for the ones that have had a lot of trauma in past lives. So there's a lot of different nuances, and everyone's different, but we could definitely take a look at that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Mhm.
Um, Before I understood the soul contract, one of the main arguments that atheists would use of why there's no God is like, why would God allow miscarriages or babies to be born with horrible problems. And so when I realized that we have these soul contracts, and like you think about some families where there's a miscarriage, that's such a huge event in their life timeline that it changes people's directions of life. So that's something that they chose to happen. So God didn't make it happen, right? But our individual souls, which are reflections of God, chose this in order for people's life timelines, to have a certain effect. Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's do a look at now. How do we word this? Because,
Mm.
like you said, there are so many possibilities for miscarriages. Is
Yeah,
the
I can. We could. So basically, I've broken it down into physical or spiritual. So
Okay,
what's
so
the
how about
percentage of physical?
what is the main cause?
Mm-hmm.
Is it mainly physical, or is it mainly spirit? Okay.
Perfect.
And that would help women who are maybe trying to avoid this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have to focus on the spiritual aspect, or the nuts and bolts, minerals, vitamins, and,
Mm-hmm.
the physical part of it?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And I know when we ask spirit, we have to be specific. Ask the tarot, we have to be very specific.
Wow, that's so interesting that we get the page of
Mm-hmm.
wands again. 2 pages. It's all about children. Uh, mm,
Mm. Mm.
wow, this is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Oh man. So most of the times, ladies, it's not because you smoked or didn't take vitamins or you worked too hard during your pregnancy. It's all up to the children, and it's more of a spiritual thing. Um, Things have to be in alignment. So we have this hermit here, and this is all, the higher self of each soul. You have the Seven of Cups in the past. This is all the past lives.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a kind of a very vague question, but I can answer the question in this, that it really isn't so much about the physical part. Okay, this is a very spiritual process. So this is why sometimes you'll see, like women who are crackheads, heroin addicts, living on the street, and then they give birth to these beautiful, healthy babies, and you're wondering. And then you have this other woman who's done everything right. She's taken care of herself. She's read all the books, and then she can't. So why? It's because this is all up to these children themselves. They're the ones who are making these decisions, whether they're gonna conceive and be celebrate their life, or whether they're not ready yet and they need to develop more with the death. We have life and death on either side here, but this is all the choice of that soul itself and the agreement that it made with its birth parents.
Mhm.
um, I
Wow.
have no physicality. I mean, I know that's incorrect, because I know that there, your health and the vitamins you take, whatever, ladies, whatever you do to prepare. I know that that's a big important part. But look, we don't have any pentacles here. This is
Right.
90% spiritual, and
Mhm.
and um and in your heart, emotions. And wow, I'm a little bit at loss for words here, because how do you explain this? We have no pentacles here. We have nothing here that's saying, is it because we've entered into an age where the concerns of the body aren't nearly as important as the concerns of the spirit, and where you are on an emotional level? Can you address that, Dana?
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, we have focused everything on the physical aspects of fertility and conception. So, when you go to the doctor, they're saying, start the prenatal vitamins. They talk about stress, but they don't talk about it enough. And that stress level and that alignment, that's what is blocking a lot of the actual conception. So in the spiritual fertility class that I'm rolling out this year, I've done all the modules, and I'm just doing some of the meditations and the supplemental work for the actual classes. It's 5 classes. It goes into the energetics of fertility, which is the Kundalini. I'm not expecting anyone to have like a Kundalini awakening. That's overbearing. It just to acknowledge the Kundalini and how important it is to conception, which has been very suppressed, and people have lost channels because they talk about it. Like Beyond Mystic has, they have lost. Jean Claude has lost a channel because he talked about that. So it's important. And then also the actual chakra system and making sure those are in alignment as well. And then just the simple fact of acknowledging the spirit babies. So I almost feel like an ambassador to these spirit babies, because as we're doing this, I'm feeling the excitement, like they're in the spirit world going, "You're talking about us, yay."
Yeah.
They're excited. So just bringing them into the limelight, and also not forcing anything on them. If you're really focused on having a boy, and a girl comes in as the baby, make that okay. Be open, just be open to a healthy baby. And that was one of the things that I did, that we both did, my husband and I. We were just, as long as the baby's healthy.
Right.
So, not putting a lot of like extra preconceived notions on the baby, the soul that's coming in, because you're giving them the opportunity to have their own life here on the planet. That's important. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
I'm a little bit blown away by that answer, and it got me thinking about a woman who was on, I think she was 60 Minutes,
Mm-hmm.
who slipped in the bathroom when she was a young lady and broke her neck, and she was a quadriplegic. Did I say that right correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up having 2 children. Uh, and so, like, here's somebody who has almost no functionality of their body from their neck down. Uh, Yet, so like, this is what I'm saying before. Physically, most people would look at her and say, "No way, she's ever going to have a baby." But uh, it's because it's on a spiritual level. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. All right,
Yeah. Love
I'm
when the hermit
surprised
comes
by this.
in. Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, ladies out there, if you think you're too old, if you think that you have some kind of chronic illness, or you could be paraplegic, you can still have children too. It's all in the spirit kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
absolutely
Tina.
right. Yeah. So just to piggyback on that, because I know the miscarriages are like the big elephant in the room, and I want to make sure we address it because there's so many women that are suffering from that, for whatever reason. So just to piggyback on
Are
that,
those on the increase these days? Maybe because of people getting this. And
yeah,
by the way, no judgment out there to anybody. If you're if you had to get that, and you're blaming yourself, and now listen, you did what you had to do, and nobody here is judging you for that.
yeah, we want to create a safe place for everyone to come to the table and talk about this because we need to heal from it. And you have to heal from the trauma. You feel it, you heal it, and then we release it. So what's happening when a couple has multiple miscarriages is the same soul working on coming earthside. Is that same soul picking them? They don't want to go to another couple. They want them. So that's
Okay.
basically the question that I have, because there are folks that are dealing with multiple miscarriages, and
Hmm.
different souls that are coming in. My hunch is that it's not, but yeah, good, worth looking at. Mhm.
All right. And
Um,
what if somebody's having multiple miscarriages, what kind of advice would you have for them?
well, I mean, the the actual conception, even just having that baby, is it's important, and it's physical, and that was it's like you lost someone that was 80 years old. It's heart wrenching. So really connecting to that and grieving it. Take the time to grieve. Some people just wipe through it and then they keep going because maybe their clock is ticking, which, yeah, that's something else that I don't believe in. Timing is divine. It's not something that is forced. So feeling into what happened to you and crying the cries and feeling the tears and feeling all of that, and then releasing it to the sun, releasing it to Mother Earth. But you can't heal something if you don't feel it. And that's really important. And be okay to be messy and to be grieving. Just, take that all in and take time to go through the motions. Because I believe,
Why don't we ask the cards too? What kind of
yeah,
what message do we get from the universe for women out there who have had a miscarriage? My mother was one of them, or who are having multiple miscarriages like that. So let's see
absolutely.
what kind of advice the universe has for
Mhm.
for these women. Oh, wow. We're getting the most appropriate card. So this is the woman who's trying to conceive, and this is Pentacles, and this is family, this is extended family, this is um, generations, and the world. Well, the Emperor in the past, and the hmm, we're getting all the key cards here for this. We have the father, the mother, the pain and regret that comes with loss. Um, and knowing that for each ending there's also a new beginning, right? So it's important that you think this is not the universe telling you you're not meant to ever have children. It means acknowledge the loss, but you can always try again. um, and and like you were saying, it's important to grieve. You should have a ceremony. You can have a funeral. You know, you can actually create a grave marker. This is not just a collection of incoherent cells. This was a very spiritual creation. So it'd be good to celebrate, not celebrate, but acknowledge that in by having a real ceremony, like however you honor the passing of a loved one, a funeral or a memorial service, something like that.
Mhm.
And know that with the Fool, there always be you always be able to start again. Life is something that there's no limit to it, right?
Mhm.
It's and this is repeating kind of what you just said, but yeah, it's important to grieve that, which is, as a man and I've never been a father, I kind of take this almost like, um, what it's just there was no soul there, I don't know. I have a very kind of almost clinical view of it, or at least I used to. Um, so yeah. It's echoing pretty much exactly what you said. I'm sorry I'm not being as articulate here as I feel like I should be, but I think the main thing is not to blame yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Um, this is just the soul itself is choosing its time. when it's going to
Mhm.
come, and it's going to come at the right time, whatever that is for the whole family. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And I like to call that divine timing, which I've done multiple videos and posts about. And divine timing is when the spirit baby wants to come earthside. There's a lot going on with that birth date. And that's one of the next questions that I had for you, the actual birth date of when the babies are coming in. So babies are imprinted basically at birth with cosmic energies such as the zodiac, the astrological chart, for those of you that know about human design, that rave chart as well, that brings in the I Ching and the Kabbalah tree of life, the positive aspects of that modality. So does the emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical state of the babies that the baby is birthed into, is that imprinted onto the baby as well? Because if you're, if you have a timeline to be pregnant in 5 months and it takes 5 years, that's when the baby wants to come. And it's frustrating on the earth side, but that's the soul contract that's actually being created in the ethers. So basically, this is more of a childbirth question, but does the emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical state of the baby um, that's being birthed um, into, is that being imprinted on the baby as well?
I'm a little bit confused.
That's
um,
okay. I can explain it a little bit more. So
yeah. So
basically, my idea of the actual childbirth moment is that the baby is being imprinted at that very moment with all the energies, the energy in the room, the energy of the mother, the feelings of the mother, the fear, the anxiety, or the relaxation, a water birth versus a hospital birth. So all of those things are imprinting the baby. So not only is that imprinting the baby, but also the astrological signs, because we know that your astrological chart is basically the building blocks and the foundation of your life as you
yeah,
move forward.
right.
Yeah. And also human design, which for those of you that know about human design, that's also very, very telling. So all of these things are imprinting the baby. So does the emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical state the baby is birthed into imprinting them, basically? Is or what's the most important thing that's imprinting the baby? Hmm.
Got that lover's card again.
Mhm. Hmm.
So this is wow. Look at all the major arcanas. So this is kind of what's meant to be will be. Does that make sense? Um,
Yeah.
so, like for example, you were meant to be having your baby in the hospital, but you ended up having it like in your doorway, right? You said, and so
Mhm.
no amount of planning or preparation um, made any difference to that. It happened when it was supposed to happen, exactly how it was supposed to happen. Um, so it's kind of out of your control, just like when you had birth there, it's out of your control. So the best thing for you to do is to um, detach yourself of any preconceived notion of what it should be like who should be there, like one thing that is always in sitcoms and movies is the father's late to the birth, right? And then the mother's really upset, pissed off that the father wasn't there. But it's important to understand that's just the way it was meant to be. It was this is karmic. I'm saying that because we have this justice here. So don't be attached to the idea that your birth should look like this, should be exactly like this, and just accept that it is the way it is because that's the way this soul chose to come into the world. So
Yeah.
it's really much an acceptance that these are things that were agreed upon before the birth happened, and just don't have any attachments of what you think it should look like, what you think it should feel like. So I'm not sure if I'm getting to the question. Um, so yes, there is imprinting, but this was pre-designed, or it was, predestined to be this way. So it's best just to accept it for what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it on the nail. The expectation of what it's supposed to be like, that always pretty much always changes. Especially with the second birth, I was ready to have a water birth in our master bedroom with fairy lights and beautiful music and candles, and getting to eat while I'm in labor, because you can't do that in the hospital, and a bunch of great wonderful things. And then I'm on my hands and knees at the front door and my husband's catching the baby after 2 hours of being in in labor. So not what I suggested, visualized at all. But yeah, if I went back, I would probably do the same thing. It would be nice to have a water birth though. But yeah, that's just how it rolls.
So I'm looking at a comment or question here from I Luna. Uh,
Mhm.
she says, any thought on the RH factor and the effect that women's bodies' immune system is attacking the baby? My niece had to uh, do an in vitro, I think, IV infusion and take shots so her body wouldn't attack the baby. So why don't you address that?
Yeah, so from the research that I've seen, the Rh negative recess aspect of the blood type is basically from the Anunnaki lineage. And on some level, it is from like it's from a star seed lineage or genome, basically. So um, it's not necessarily native to the planet. So there, it sounds like, and from a physical shots perspective aspect, I haven't done enough research on that part. Again, I am certified in the hypnobirthing and the spiritual aspects, but I'm not a healthcare professional. So I'm not here to give the healthcare professional advice. Just to put that disclaimer out there. But at the same time, it feels like we've figured out a way to fix that with those shots, because people have had a lot of healthy births because of those shots. Depending on, so you have a Rh negative mother and maybe a Rh positive father, where the father is, B positive, O positive, whatever that looks like. And depending on the baby's blood type, that could happen where the baby is being attacked by its home, the mother, because it's seen as like a foreign entity. Even sperm is being attacked when it's introduced into the body. Um, so the body is very protective, obviously, and it sounds like modern medicine has created a way around that. I'm not sure what happened before those shots were created. I'd have to do some research, but it could be a good question for the cards. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
What do you have any more questions for the cards before we go?
So I have 4 pages, but not tonight. So we'll have to do like a part two.
I remember from our private reading that you come very prepared with your
Um,
questions.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so why don't you choose one? I think we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. If anybody in the audience has any questions for Dana or for the cards, so why don't you choose a question, one more question
Yeah. So this this question I think is very interesting. It makes you think. So basically, let me read it to you. So women experience menopause at basically 50, but we are born with 40,000 eggs in our
Oh,
ovaries. That's a lot of eggs, and in which more than we can use in a lifetime. So
that's
living,
because we're meant to be living longer.
absolutely, yeah. And it's 80 to 90 years, basically. In 80 to 90 years, you're only using around 370 of those eggs. And that's if
Wow.
you're producing one a month for one
Yeah,
cycle.
right, right.
So
By the way,
I
I
want
wanted to point out I think God was trying to give mankind a message that women can have, there's no time limit on when you can have babies because of
to,
the story of Sarah becoming pregnant at, I think she was 80 years old in the Bible.
yeah, that's a wonderful story too, and that's very telling. So I read an article that said foods like meat, dairy, and starchy foods, they create mucus in the fallopian tubes,
Oh,
and they
wow.
block the ova, which is the egg, from moving through the uterus,
Right.
and through those fallopian tubes, and that's actually creating the menopause. It's not the age; it's our the way our diet is, because if you do, let me get some water. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. If you do look up the oldest birthing age, you'll find women that were having babies at 60. I think the oldest lady was 67 years old. Amazing. So, and based off of some of the work that Honey has done with the Tartarians, they're living up until 300, 400 years old. Um, they're not giving off an egg every month. It's more like twice a year. And uh, it's interesting. Like, were we supposed to have menopause so young?
Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask why. Why
Mhm.
is you say 50 is a typical age of
Yeah.
menopause?
Mhm.
Strength. This is the third time we've gotten the lovers as the outcome
Hmm.
tonight. So absolutely, I think that the original way that the human body was designed was to, you, this infinity sign symbol is sticking out to me. So of course not infinite, but we are meant to be living much longer than what we do, and there's been an interference with our genetics, with how we age. Um, we've been tampered with to uh, to age faster. But so why? And let me see here. So I this page of pentacles, that this pentacle, this coin actually to me reminds me of the egg itself now.
Mm.
So it's and like I want to say that a lot of it is like what we're told, also. Um, if you're told that you're supposed to be this way, then you tend to believe that. So it's almost like you know mental conditioning. You're told that you can't have children beyond a certain point, so you believe that. But your body kind of knows the difference. But yeah, I think there's two things going on here. I think human beings have been tampered with on a genetic level, but also it's a lot of it's mental. Um, it's as you think, so you are. Um, but we are meant to be fruitful much later into life. So, not sure what to do with that information. But if you are over 40 and you are wanting to bring new children into the world, you have to, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions create our reality. So, so yeah,
Absolutely.
that's about it. But
Yeah.
and also, this is also the soul babies, right? If they want to come into this world, they will find a way. Um, so I guess maybe if you are older and you didn't think you could get pregnant and you do, uh, you have to respect that. That this is a soul who wanted to be in this world at this time.
Mhm. That's right. For your viewers, they know who TBJ is. So she always talks about how she was 40 when she had her son. And I think, I was 40 when I had my second son, our second son. And I think that that's really important because you go into these perinatal meetings where they tell you you're doing great. They tell you nothing's wrong, but then they want to observe for whatever reason. And our second child, he only had 2 ultrasounds because even that is coming up as kind of something that may not be healthy for the baby. That's something we can talk about, in another video. But there's a lot of little things that we have to uncover when it comes to this. And when you look at the root of the issues that we're having, and in this great awakening, the root of the issues are coming from conception, fertility, and childbirth. And then utilizing and harnessing that new life and taking every ounce of beauty away from it. And that's the issues that we've been having with the entire Great Awakening and everything that's happening for those of you that know what I'm talking about. So this is I think I'm going to uncover something that, and us as a whole, as a movement, we're going to uncover something in this particular genre that the whole world needs to know about. So I really appreciate all the information and the time and the invitation, Scott. Your energy is very balanced, and I think that's why the Lover's card is coming out so much. Because the divine feminine and the divine masculine are coming together to create the new earth. And we have to heal the divine feminine because it's very broken, but we also have to heal the divine masculine.
That's right.
Because that is also broken as well. So a divine masculine that is in touch and in tune with their intuition and the softer side of their life, that is the balance. And I think you exude that very well. I think you'll be able to give a lot of wonderful answers to couples and women that are seeking questions because the miscarriage rate and also the stillbirth rate has skyrocketed. And I have a video about that on my Rumble channel. I do have a Rumble channel for the videos that I really need to get out there that I can't on other platforms. Yeah.
Okay, well, Dana, I don't want to keep you up any later tonight. I know it's getting late there, and I appreciate everybody who tuned in today and who those who watch this in replay. I hope this helped you. It was my pleasure to have you on as a guest. I want to put this out there. Anybody out there, if you're a light worker, a healer, a medium, and you would like to get your message out to the world, send me an email. I'd love to have you as a guest on this channel. And Dana, is there anything you want to tell people, like how they can get in touch with you? I've got your website posted in the comments. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so basically I have my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under at From Fertility to Delivery, all one word, because we're on a journey in this. It's from fertility to delivery, and it all comes together in the end with a beautiful, soft, wonderful baby in your arms that you've been dreaming about. And that dream is a reality. I don't want anyone to ever give up on the reality of having a family. Because when you think about it, you're getting all these tugs, but you want to give up, but you keep getting those tugs like, I just want to have a baby so bad. And the reason you are is because your spirit baby is tugging you. They're actually connecting with you and tugging you and making sure you don't give up. And there's a lot of women that may listen to this that have had really traumatic births, and that may be one of the traumas that you have to work through in order to continue on with the ascension process. And I'm going to be working on some videos that will help with that. It's not my main focus. My main focus is that spiritual aspect that came out in the cards of helping humanity tap into the physical, the emotional, and spiritual blocks that they're having, and moving into more of an aligned state for conception. But I will be doing a lot of work to help heal that divine feminine aspect of our collective that they've had a lot of issues with traumatic childbirths, because that's stuck in your cells and it has to be released in order for a good golden age conception, a good golden age ascension to happen. So I just wanted to say that because we have a lot of matriarchs watching this.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Well, Dana, thank you for your service. I mean, what you're doing. I don't think I've never heard of anybody doing anything like what you're doing. Um, so thank you, and good luck. And I hope you much success, and I hope you help many women to fulfill their dreams of being mothers, and the fathers out there too.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Well, gonna say good night now to everybody who tuned in. I know we didn't have a huge audience tonight, which I can understand, but this is a this is a service that we're providing here. Anyways. Um, thank you, everybody. Oh, I one last little thing. I haven't been very active on YouTube this month, and um, so I probably not going to get paid this month because there's a threshold. YouTube has a $100 threshold, and my AdSense thing is about $40 right now. So if you'd like to support this channel, I'd appreciate if maybe you sent me a couple of dollars with a super sticker or a super thank you if you're watching this in replay, because I need to get it. It'd be nice to get, if I don't get paid this month, then I have to wait another month, and $100 would pay my electric bill. Let me put it that way. So I'm asking for a little bit of help with my YouTube channel. Um, Hit the like button, share it, and if you have $2, um, maybe a super thank you or super sticker. All right, that's about it. Dana, I guess I'll be seeing you around maybe in the near future.
Definitely. Yeah, I really appreciate it, Scott. I'm humbled to be on your channel, and we're both going to be growing together in this new process. I think we have a lot to give humanity, and we're coming from a very humble state of giving that, because there's no other way to do it. It's just important to give of yourself and expect nothing in return, but
That's right.
be in alignment with the abundance of your life, and just see what happens.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in the future, if you ever want to come back and tell us something new that you're doing, then you let me know and I'll get you on. Okay.
Sounds great.
So
Thank you so much, Scott.
let me switch over here to and good night, everybody. It always takes me a minute to figure out how to log off here. Um, so yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and eventually I'll figure out how to turn off my channel.
Hmm.
So thank you, Dayna. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.
And I'll just say close off here. All right. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching. See you next week. You there, Dayna, still?